Hello and welcome to Life Lessons with Barbara. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm your host, Barbara Elleen Johnson, and I'll be sharing lessons I've learned, most of them the hard way, from my many years of living this life. And I've learned a lot also from the people I've worked with over the past 40 plus years as a therapist, as a counselor, as a consultant, and most recently as a life coach. I am the owner of BEJ Associates, LLC. It's a transformational coaching and consulting company. And we specialize in dismantling barriers that stand between you and the life you truly want to live. I want to give a huge shout out to Black Wall Street Radio. Congratulations. And thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. And if you're enjoying that mellow music in the background as much as I am, you are hearing one of the best lead guitar players ever. Her name is Lois Lady Mac McMorris, doing her signature piece called After the Rain. If you'd like to download After the Rain and maybe even hear some of her other tunes, then go to my website, BEJ-Associates.com. And there you'll also find our previous shows, and not only will you be able to hear them, but see them as well. So again, that's BEJ-Associates.com. Now here's a little more Lady Mac and After the Rain. Stay tuned. I want to give a shout out to Black Wall Street Radio. Thank you so much for this wonderful opportunity. Today is our second show for this new station, and it pretty much transitions from the first show we did with the interview with Dr. Joe L. Dudley Sr., and where we talked all about the mastermind group and all of that. So with this show, we're going to start out with me being interviewed about my company by Jimmy Davies, who is the president of the Raleigh-Durham chapter of the Fuller and Dudley Mastermind Group. So it works really well. But anyway, I'm going to share this interview that he did with me. And after that, we're going to get into the nuts and bolts of life coaching, because that's what I am, a master life coach. And I think there's not a soul out there that wouldn't benefit from a few sessions. So here we go.
Hello, I'm Jimmy Davies with the Raleigh-Durham chapter of the Fuller and Dudley Mastermind Business Group. And today we have with us Barbara Johnson of BEJ Associates. Welcome, Barbara.
Thank you.
First of all, I wanted to ask, could you tell us a little bit about your business?
Sure. After retiring, after being in state government for about 16 years, I got bored and decided to birth my own baby. So I call it my retirement baby. And what I did was I thought about all the things I loved to do when I was working throughout my whole work life. And I put those things together, and I named it BEJ Associates, which is the acronyms of my name, right? And then I recruited some awesome people to partner with me. And what we do is mostly under this. First of all, let me give you the tag.
Okay.
It is a specialist in dismantling barriers to personal and organizational achievement.
Okay.
And so professionally right now I am a life coach. Before that I was a therapist. I kind of wanted to lighten up a little bit and do life coaching instead. And so that's one branch of the business. And then we have another branch which is business consulting. We mostly stay in the people area rather than the fiscal and and the operational. So we offer a series of workshops. Have a specialist. One of my associates is a specialist in conflict resolution and mediation. His wife, she's certified in workplace health, and so we can bring all kinds of. We have over 50 different workshops that are posted on the website.
Oh, wow.
So besides that though, we offer specialized training. And specialized in that, for instance, we're working on a package now on diversity, embracing diversity. So we kind of try to anticipate, what the industries and what organizations are encountering, and to try to be a solution for them. We like to think out of the box, so we really come from a different angle, and I think it has greater impact. We're more focused on the experiential rather than the academic.
Okay.
So we think when you get people down to the feeling level, there's a better understanding, and they internalize the information better. And just an example of that, we have another associate on board who she's a drum therapist, and she uses drumming as a way for, especially her passion is with adults and children with ADHD.
Okay.
And she finds that drumming is a very calming thing and very therapeutic. So she teaches that. Whenever we do like team building for an organization, or if they want to do a retreat for their employees, then we add that component, and it really. One thing about drumming is anybody can do it. You don't have to know music or anything, and it's just at the heart level you just do it, and rhythmically it's just very soothing. So that's just an example of how we think out of the box. We've done a lot of case management training too for organizations, for nonprofits especially that work with people, families in crisis, or low-income struggling folks. So we teach skills to those workers who work with those families, and then along with that, we always try to incorporate some self-care stuff, because a lot of times people who work, in that kind of environment, taking on the problems of other people, sometimes they neglect their own themselves.
Right. And
so we always remind them, here's some things that you can do, that you can do right on the spot, like chair yoga, for instance. That's one of Cindy's specialties. So, that's really, okay, so that's the second leg of the business. And then the third leg is program development. And that's, we can replicate some programs. As a matter of fact, I'm the author of one. It was called Restoring Families, and it was a family reunification program. And if an agency or an organization, especially a government-based agency, if it has the infrastructure, then we can replicate it. And it was a real powerful way to reunite families whose children were out of or were in foster care because of parental substance abuse.
Okay. Well, it sounds like you offer a lot of services. Was there?
We want to. It's just difficult, of course, the marketing piece and just getting known and
Right.
getting the opportunity to show, what we can do.
Well, when you do show what you can do, what makes your business unique? What makes it different from others?
Well, I'm sure most other businesses say that they design programs that are tailored to meet the specific needs of the organization. well, we really do that.
Okay.
And we try to find the most expedient, but at the same time, the most impactful strategy for addressing whatever it is, whatever problem they're trying to solve. And so I think that makes us unique. And I've already kind of described some of the talent that we have,
Right.
you know, on our team, and we put all those talents to use. So we always kind of throw a curve where people are experiencing something they didn't anticipate.
Well, I understand you're also a member of the Fuller and Dudley Mastermind Business Group that meets on Monday evening. So
Yes.
how is that going? What have you gotten out of that?
Oh my goodness, I'm just so thrilled. I'm just so excited. I feel like this is a replication of what, what's his name, Hill, Napoleon Hill,
Oh, yeah.
Napoleon Hill, and all of those millionaires that he studied. I think this is our version. So we're headed up by Joe Dudley, who's a multimillionaire, and he's sharing what he knows, and he's pulling together other expertise, and so it's just really stimulating because it's so hard. You get caught up in the day to day, and so it's just nice to have that time carved out once a week to just focus on your vision, on what you're striving to do, and then have all these like-minded people, on board with you. And yeah, I'm so excited about it because I've been a part of a mastermind group, but without it just kind of fizzled.
Okay.
But this is something I can see, really always, ongoing. It will sustain me in terms of needing inspiration and, and new ideas.
Well, great. Well, is there anything else you'd like to add in your interview? Or?
Well, anybody who is interested in what we do or want to,
Contact you?
Yeah, contact us. The best way to do it is, because I think it's the easiest to remember, is to go to the website, and it's BEJ-Associates.com. So that's BEJAssociates.com, -associates.com, and a phone number where you can probably leave a message because I'm never by the phone is 919-787-1579. Again, it's 919-787-1579. We'd love to hear from you.
Okay, well, we want to thank you for being our interviewee today. And
My pleasure. Thank you for the opportunity.
Sure thing. Thank you.
Okay, so here we are again. Thank you for hanging in here. So you've heard the interview and you have a sense of the whole scope of BEJ and Associates. And as I refer to it as my retirement baby, that's exactly what it is. Because even 10 years ago, I had no idea I'd be doing any of this. So that just goes to show you the best laid plans sometimes get interrupted by real life and opportunities and some sort of divine inspiration that can happen to you when you least expect it. And that's what happened to me. So you heard the whole scope of the business. And it's really a compilation of everything that I love to do, the kind of work I enjoy doing with people. I love sharing my wisdom, my experiences. I love hearing and listening to, sometimes I feel like I can hear that inner voice when I'm listening to someone and someone is sharing
especially on a heart level. I feel a connection. And that's why I'm so dedicated to this kind of work of helping other people see things in themselves that they can't see. Because sometimes those are the things that block your path, that cause you not to see the blessings that await you. So I call them barriers, obstacles, blocks, whatever. Just those things that impede or interfere with an ability to recognize what awaits you on the horizon. So I guess, we came here to meet the challenge. And I like to be that instrument, that what's that word? Catalyst. I love being the one that's there when the discovery happens. So anyway, so the first leg of BEJ and Associates is life coaching. And there's so much to say about it, but it's something, I have a questionnaire I'm going to take you through, 20 questions. And as we go through, I will elaborate from time to time to try to give you a little more background into why these questions are relevant and how you might use those questions to do some soul searching to find out, is this possibly true about you? And if it is, then that means there is hope. There is hope to overcome. There's a way to see your way through. And so that's what we're going to do for the next few minutes. So I hope you will enjoy this experience. But just let me first make some disclaimers. Sometimes, there's one thing I gotta say. Life coaching is not as regulated as therapeutic, clinical counseling, psychiatric treatment, and psychological treatment. It's not regulated. There is some regulation, but it is voluntary for right now. So that means that anybody can hang a shingle and say, I'm a life coach. Well, just so you'll know, I am a life coach for real. And there is definitely techniques that help me and help other life coaches to facilitate that process that I just described, that discovery process. There's a lot of techniques we use, visioning, just thought-provoking questions. You heard of the expression playing devil's advocate. It's to challenge. We're taught to challenge our clients to think a different way than they normally do. So that's the training, that's the skill that we offer. And so there is definitely a science to it. So it was very important to me because that I found the right training. I started out as I had a degree in psychology. I got a couple of specialized certifications, Adlerian psychology and addiction intervention training and that kind of thing. And so it was very, specific. But I wanted to deviate from that the science of looking at what's wrong with an individual. I like the notion or the idea about coaching because it just, what it does is it says, okay, here you are, wherever you are in the process of your own personal development. And so how do you go forward from where you are? So it's not a deficiency kind of thing. We're not looking for some hidden, deep-seated, broken thing in you that has to be fixed before you can manifest the kind of life you really want to live. We go from where you are to where you want to be. And not all, and life coaching does not, it's sometimes there may be some more elementary or some more basic work that needs to be done before you're a good candidate for life coaching, but we'll talk about that as we go through the questions. So just to let you know, I acquired a master's degree in counseling, which means my whole master level program was about how to help people understand themselves better. So I started out with that, which in and of itself is very specific training and a beautiful prereq to life coaching. It is what they call a deficiency model. In other words, it's assuming that some of the barriers or some of the beliefs or values or something that the person has developed and adheres to is problematic and needs to be eradicated. And so it is along the lines of the medical model. Something's broke, so we'll fix it. But once you're past that stage and you've healed, you are whole, you are stable, you are okay with where you are, then life coaching comes in really handy. It was very important to me to actually learn the skills inherent in life coaching. And I was able to find a program at the Institute for Life Coach Training, which, and this just blew my mind, the prerequisite was that you had a master's degree in counseling. And I just couldn't believe it. I was like, whoa, you kidding me? I've never seen that be a prerequisite for anything. And so I just knew that was the right thing for me. And then even with that, it took, I think it was about 6 months, 6 to 8 months. Well, 6 months and then preparation for the examination. A BCC is the BCC is the credential, and it stands for Board Certified Coach. But because it requires a master's level of education, I refer to myself as a master life coach. With all the experience and all the training I've had before even becoming a coach, was at the master level. And on top of that is, actual months spent transitioning from that medical model of I can fix you to the coaching model, which means I'm here for you, and we're gonna go on this journey together. All right, so I hope you have enough basic information about what coaching is, and I have to say now that for some of us who have not been born with a silver spoon in our mouths, and have had a little bit of struggle along the way, just in general, and especially financially. This is something that we would not normally invest in. But life coaching has been around forever. And people have hired coaches. Now, when you think of the word coach, that's somebody who helps you get better at what you're doing. It's as simple as that. Well, that's what a life coach does. A life coach helps you negotiate your life better so that you can achieve some of the things that you want to achieve. Okay, with that, we're going to go through these questions. Are you ready? Here we go. Now, wait a minute. Before I start these questions, I want you to get in a frame of mind where, you're kind of relaxed. And I have some beautiful music playing in the background, but I don't think you can hear it. I'm enjoying it. But, just kind of put yourself in a kind of a more peaceful state of mind. Set aside whatever you were thinking about. Set aside what you plan to do in the next hour or two. And just be in the present moment. Be in the present moment. Maybe even close your eyes if you're not driving, if it's feasible. But I want you to be in a state of mind where you're more inclined to be open. And because these questions should be thought-provoking, especially the ones that resonate for you. Now, they won't all resonate, and some of them, it just depends on where you're at, whether it applies to you or not. So while you get yourself situated, we'll take a little break. In the meantime, enjoy Lady Max After the Rain. Now that you're all relaxed and open to contemplating these profound questions I have for you, it looks like we're only going to have enough time for the first one in this first half hour of the show. But let's see how it goes. As I ask you these questions, I want you to be as honest as you can with yourself. The first one, do you have a dream that you gave up on for whatever reason? Something that gave you joy when you fantasized about it. And then you came to that point where you felt, oh, that's pie in the sky, that's ridiculous, that's silly. Is there still some sort of, something still kind of tugging at you that you have denied yourself? Now, let me just say this. There are some things that, because of the passage of time or whatever, are not realistic. So I'm thinking in terms of something realistic. Say if you're alone and you would love to have that special someone in your life, or that you long to do a different kind of work than what you do now. But you're thinking, well, this is paying the bills. This is, and it'll take so long, so many years or whatever. And so you've just given up on that dream. So if there is a dream that used to give you that joy and you've made the decision that it's too late or you can't do it, it wouldn't be a bad idea, to have at least one session with a life coach to revisit that and see if maybe there is a way that that dream can be fulfilled.
BEJ Associates LLC offers a broad array of services, including life coaching, to help achieve your personal goals, planning, facilitation, and presentations of workshops, seminars, and conferences, various customized services, diverse and personalized addictions intervention, and organizational staff development. We specialize in dismantling barriers to individual and organizational achievement. BEJ Associates. Enlighten, inspire, motivate at BEJ-associates.com.
The second question, do you often feel overwhelmed, bored, or unmotivated? And those are symptoms. A lot of times those are symptoms that occur when we are not getting our heart level needs met. Heart level meaning where joy emanates from, where a sense of okayness comes from. And so you may, or the overwhelm could be forcing yourself to go through a routine that really doesn't serve you. It really is not giving you the satisfaction that you want. So it becomes a chore. It becomes a duty, an obligation that is joyless. And so, yeah, you'd feel overwhelmed or bored. You certainly wouldn't feel motivated. A good reason to sit down with a life coach. And okay, number 3. Do you continue to remain in a situation like a job or a relationship that you've outgrown or that doesn't serve you, that no longer fits you? Think about that. Is that what's going on in your life? Because if it is, you deserve more. You deserve to have a life that gives you satisfaction. And settling is not going to give you the kind of satisfaction you could have if you went for what is best for you. So if you feel like you're settling, or if you feel discouraged or you feel like you can't do any better, or blah, 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 talk to somebody. Do you continue to, do you feel detached? Like you're just going through the motions of living? Oh, I get up, I go do this, I do that, and the most that you can get excited about is maybe watching some reality TV show at the end of the day, something you've recorded to sit down and get into someone else's make-believe life, rather than have the kind of stimulating and nurturing and positive life of your own. So think about that. Do you have goals that you want to achieve, but you just haven't been able to yet? So you might want to, if that's the case for you, you might want to participate in life coaching sessions to explore the reasons for that. And there are most of the time, how you benefit from life coaching is, and it encourages you to rethink certain things that you've already accepted or that you've already decided, or some things that you've never explored for yourself before. Beliefs, values, things that you bought into before ever examining it for yourself. And so life coaching gives you a chance to rethink some of those things. So sometimes when we feel this this little flicker, this little flame, or this little gnawing that says, oh, I'd like to do that. Oh, that would be fun. I bet that would be fun. But then then right away you shut yourself down and you've labeled this thing, oh, that's frivolous, or that's, there's no way I can do that. I'm not this enough, or I'm not that enough, and you start to, to shut it down. And that's something that can be changed just by re-examining it. And that's the way life is. I mean, you can't go through life contemplating every single thing. You're on automatic pilot about a lot of stuff. And some of those things that you just assume or that you've just accepted as your truth may not necessarily be your truth. And they could be blocking you from, really having an exciting kind of life, one where you wake up and you're just ready to go, and you have so much to look forward to, so much to anticipate. Let me see, where am I now? Let me see how I'm doing the time. Okay. So, does this resonate for you? Do you feel you have no dreams, no goals, nothing to aspire to? You're not even sure that there is a purpose for your life at all. And to feel that way puts you kind of borderline depressed, which becomes a clinical thing. But if it's just a flat out apathy, you're functioning all right, there's some little joys along the way in your life that keep you from, dropping into that level of depression. But it's not enough to give you a lot of motivation or a lot of desire to do or be something different. I call it like flatlining, but not dead, but just kind of, I'm here, I'm existing, I get the wind blows me this way, I go there. The wind blows me that way, I go there. Not taking charge of your life. Is that what's happening? Maybe. Do you feel, or do you wish you could figure out what you're supposed to do when you grow up? Maybe you're the kind of person who prides yourself on being, spontaneous, going with the flow. I can relate to that because that's what I would do. And that wind blowing you this way and the wind blowing you that way that I just described, that was me. I had no sense of direction, and in the real sense of I don't for real. But in terms of managing and directing my own life, that was something I didn't learn to do for years. So if that's where you are and you're always ending up somewhere else or somewhere you don't want to be, then you may need to kind of you may need to kind of impose some self-discipline. And, like a grown-up, and do the kind of soul searching, just stop being, so focused on what's outside of you and do some inward stuff, then you'll develop that sense of direction. And life coaches can help you do that. So if you don't know what you want to be when you grow up and you're already 50, it's better late than never. So give yourself this chance to be who you were meant to be Okay. Okay, number 8. Do you feel your life lacks direction or passion or joy? And that's something only you can decide for yourself. Do you feel you have direction? Do you feel like you're headed in the right direction? Do you feel like you're building a dream, making progress towards it? What about the passion? Do you feel excited about certain aspects of your life? Or is it mostly dread? Or is it mostly boredom? Or are you so much into control that you really, really limit what enters your life? Very, very super self-protective. Is that where you are? Another thing is not having much joy in your life. And I know I use that word a lot, but joy is something that comes from the very simple, free, and easy things that are all around you all the time. To step outside and see the trees and the birds and feel the breeze and I mean, that could give you a kind of high if you tune into it. If those kinds of things, if you look for the things that could bring a smile to your face or to make you feel, I'm a part of this thing and this feels good. Do you have that kind of joy? An appreciation for the simple things in life? Okay, let me move on because I'm running out of time as usual. Okay, what about, do you believe your life is chaotic and out of balance? Sometimes, it's interesting, but sometimes we manufacture chaos just so that we can be stimulated and feel alive. We can manufacture it in a lot of ways. People who hoard, they're just surrounded by stuff. People who hoard people, they're in the midst all the time, looking to be energized, to be stimulated. So I think it's about a focus of control or a focus, period. Are you focusing on what's outside of you? Are you focusing on what's inside? Are you doing too much of one or the other? So there is balance to strive for. And balance, if that's your goal, will keep you on an even keel. You'll have your highs and you'll have your lows and you'll have your steady as she goes, as steady as he goes. And that's a life skill and a necessity. There needs to be balance, and there needs to be a shutting down. So a life of chaos, for your whole waking moments is it's going to burn you out, cause you maybe physical problems or stress-related problems in the long run. But there's better ways to be stimulated. You can read a good book and have quiet and peace. You can take your dog for a walk in the park or something. So balance. So if your life is out of balance, then you want to look at that. Do you have dreams you've convinced yourself you cannot realize? So that's kind of like the first one. So you're still entertaining the dream, but you're keeping it in the fantasy category as opposed to actually developing a plan for making that dream a reality. So that's the difference between that question and the first one. First one is saying, I gave up on it. I don't even think about it anymore. This one is saying, oh, I fantasize about it all the time, but that's all I do. I'm not making any progress towards it. Excuse this phone, please. So think about that. What about, do you constantly compare yourself to other people and consequently always come up short in comparison? That's a self-esteem issue. And so that might mean that you need to sit down and explore your strengths and your gifts and become more aware of your assets. Because once you know those, then you will know your capabilities. And once you know your capabilities, then you can envision a way to create and live the kind of life you want to live. Do you believe there is a special purpose in your life? So you're aware of this. There's this inkling or something gnawing at you that there is this purpose in your life, but you can't figure out what it is. And that is a time when a life coach, someone who's going to help you do this exploration, will come in really handy. Do you believe, do you have negative habits you have tried to break on your own, but you have not had success at it? And the obvious ones are, smoking, drinking, doing things that, or being caught up in some sort of compulsion that is working against you, that is causing you to not progress, to that burns up so much of your energy, physically, emotionally, spiritually. And those are times, and something like time management, a life coach could help you with. I have an associate, Cindy Goulding, who is a certified smoking cessation therapist, who could, help you work a plan and be held accountable until you get to the point where whatever this is, this bad habit that's been causing havoc in your life, can be taken care of. So there are things like that which block your blessings, I call it. I like that term. It may sound a little, religious, but that's really what it is. Life coaching is about helping you remove or work around those barriers so that you can envision and aspire to and find ways to create, because we create our reality, to create the kind of life you want to live. Do you feel, let's see, did I skip something? Okay. And this is kind of the flip side of the other question. It says, do you want to make positive changes in your life, but have had no success so far? I'm still working on one, and I'll admit it. And anybody who knows me knows that this is a problem. I can't get nowhere on time. I always underestimate how long it's going to take me to do something. And you would think after all of these years, these decades, that I would have made, well, I have made some progress. So I'm going to give myself a pat on the back. I have made some progress. But that's an ongoing challenge for me. And another one is to shut it down and get a good night's sleep. Sometimes I can manage that, and other times I won't. It's a willfulness. And I'm always open to ideas. So if you have some, go to the website and go to contact us and send me a message. That secret special technique that's going to make a difference for me. So I don't sit here as a life coach professing to be perfect, by no means. But I lived a long time, and I've had a lot of training, and I've met a lot of people. So I have overcome a lot of my shortcomings. But because I'm human, and I'm glad I am, because otherwise I would be expected to be perfect, and none of us are. So if that's what you're striving for, forget about it. It ain't happening, not as long as you're a human being. And so it's okay not to be perfect. So you choose your battles. You decide, what is it that, is blocking me from doing or being or having what I want. And if you don't know that, that's when it's a good idea to check with a life coach. Let me just finish these up real quick before time runs out. Do you feel something is missing in your life, but you have no clue what it is? Do you sometimes feel lost after going through a major transition, like a divorce, which can be devastating, especially if you don't initiate the breakup and you feel like you're the victim of it? Devastating. I've been through that, and it's no fun. It's a very hard thing to overcome, especially if the marriage was a happy one, or if you were content and very happy within that relationship. Or a job, loss of a job you love. And, we almost identify with what we do. And it's hard to separate who we are from what we do. And then to have that just snatched away for whatever reason, put you in free fall. And sometimes you need somebody to help you reinvent yourself, rediscover who you are without that person or without that job. And do you want to build your confidence, become more assertive, live life more fully? And sometimes all we need is to be our own champion, to assert ourselves, and to ask for what we want. So practicing, learning assertiveness techniques and building those skills and having someone to practice with is a good use of a good coach. Do you want to, do you feel you and your significant other are less connected and drifting apart, or bored with each other, stuck in a routine? And that's when relationship coaches come in really handy. But my theory about that is, first, do you find out who you are, what's going on, what matters to you. So before you can fix a relationship, you have to make sure, that you are in sync with yourself, with your spirit, with your body, your soul. So, but yes, the next step, if you want to improve your relationship with a significant other, or with a child, or with your parents, with your family, partner, coworker, whatever, do your work first. And then there are coaches out there that will work with parties of two or more. And we do have some people skilled at that skilled at that with BEJ Associates. I'm not one of them. I'm a one-on-one kind of coach. Or I do group coaches. I do group coaching as well. If there's several people, for instance, who want to build their assertiveness skills, maybe want to climb the corporate ladder, or they just want to have more impact and positive interaction with people, then I could work with a group of people with the same or similar goals. But otherwise, it's a one-on-one deal. But I just added that because that's something else that you can use Coach for. Help you facilitate a relationship better. And then the last one, do you want to manifest your dreams or more of what you really want in life? So say you do have it pretty much together and you're really happy with the life that you've created for yourself. Maybe you want to make it better. Maybe if you found a way to have a positive impact in this area and you want to take it to the next level, you should consider a coach for that as well. So if you're not happy with anything in your life, before you just accept it, see if you can be encouraged to look at it a different way, to find a way to feel more empowered. And so now for the commercial. My associates and I, most who are life coaches, offer a one-time 45-minute free coaching session. All you need to do is go to the website and indicate that and let us know. And we'll have your email address and I'll assign someone to follow up with you. Well, my life lesson for you today is if your life isn't the way you want it, you have the power to change that.
Well, that concludes our show for today. Thank you again for tuning in, and I hope you'll tune in again every Saturday for Life Lessons with Barbara. I hope the questions gave you some food for thought. And if you suspect that you might be a good candidate for life coaching, take us up on that offer, a free 45-minute life coaching session. All you have to do is go to the website, BEJ-Associates.com, and let us know that you're interested. You can also download the fabulous Lady Max, After the Rain, and hear some of the other tunes that she has available. I also want to follow up with you on the show that we had on our first show, which was my interview with the multi-millionaire humanitarian Dr. Joe L. Dudley Sr. of the Dudley Hair Products fame, and the big event that's being held in his honor in celebration of his 80th birthday, and also to raise funds for the foundation that he described. And that's going to take place in Winston-Salem, North Carolina on May 20th through the 22nd. You don't want to miss this. For $15, you can be one of 10,000 people in this mega mastermind meeting. Just imagine hearing from millionaires and billionaires of African American descent who are volunteering their time to come and enlighten us on how to succeed, how to make capitalism work for us and our community. You don't want to miss this. If you missed the show, you have an opportunity to go back and hear every word so that you'll know what an opportunity this really is. So for all the information you need to buy your ticket, whatever, It's all available on the website, BEJ-Associates.com. And go buy your ticket. I hope we'll see you there. In the meantime, have a great week, and namaste.